Let me get over closer. There's something else here underwater. Oh yeah, there's something here. Oh, I'm sliding. Ooh. I'll be. I didn't think today was gonna be a day of discovery. I'm nervous, I'm not gonna lie. That was probably not the brightest idea, but hopefully the footage pays off. I'm back at a pretty familiar location, a location I've made numerous videos on. But I came back today because up there is a site I've never seen before. And I think some of you might want to see it as well. If you want to see what we're going to be checking out and see what we may find along the way, all you need to do is come along with me. So just to fill you in where we are, so flowing right around me here is Roaring Brook. Above me is the Harrison Ave Bridge. Back there directly behind me is the train bridge. We've ridden across that on the Electric City trolley ride. Trolley takes you from Steamtown, crosses Roaring Brook in that bridge, and then heads into this rocky landscape through the Crown Ave Tunnel, which is a 1 mile long bedrock tunnel underneath the city of Scranton. But up ahead though, there's a place we have visited numerous times. We've seen people jumping from it, and although I have seen it, I've never been able to actually get on it. Well, we haven't had any rain in over a month. Water levels are way down, things are more exposed, and I think today we're gonna see a site we've never seen before and get access to areas of it that we've never been before. I already whacked my head off a low tree branch hanging down. Now, I'm not planning on going swimming today, although I'm prepared to get wet, but we have snorkeled these waters before. Any videos I have mentioned about coming here will be linked down below. I was here with my friend Matt PG. I was here solo. I've done snorkeling. We've documented some unique things, which I see up ahead here. And right now where I'm walking, well, normally I'd be underwater. And I can see pretty clearly into the pool of water here. And we are gonna have to get wet to bridge this gap right here. There's also some ruins from days gone by in the water here too. I did bring my underwater camera to get us some footage if we do want to, but no snorkeling today. It is nearing the end of September. We haven't had any high humid days in quite a while, so water temperatures are gonna be quite low, and well, we'll do it right now. Yeah, it's chilly. As long as I should say keep the Bojangles above water, I should be good. Right there though is a steel beam. That might be from railroad days or the old Harrison Ave Bridge days, because they actually imploded the old bridge to make the new one that is behind me there, which I also made a video on as well. But looking down here though, this water is fairly deep. I think it would be over my head. I remember swimming in it, couldn't touch bottom. I don't think I was able to see bottom. And I need to get my phone out of my pocket because I'm getting pretty low here. So don't want to make a costly mistake. Okay, we're getting close to the Bojangles. I gotta try to get to higher water. Whew. There's a signpost underwater here too. I could see like a stop sign post. All right. Best course of action here. I don't think I have a choice but to get a little bit more wet. Okay. I wasn't planning on going this deep, but the water is deep regardless, even though the water levels are way down. It's over my stomach right now. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm sliding. I'm sliding. There's a rock. Oh. Okay. That was worse than it was supposed to be. And I also remember jumping in up here too. I believe it was flowing much faster, where the water was kind of pushing me down to this pool. But now it's pretty calm and maintained, and now I'm sinking into some silt like crazy. So right here we have remnants of something from the past. We weren't able to identify it, but we do think it was a type of bridge that was situated here. Now we have this pipe here, which is just laying here. It's not its original position. And right there, coming out of the bedrock, we have square formations. That would have been for wood posts or beams. You can see about how big they are compared to my hand. So this is cut out by man for posts, for supports to come out, maybe to the other side, maybe only so far. But we have these coming out of the ground, which would serve like supports for a dock, either a dock or a bridge. And I believe that dock or bridge is laying right here. So we're actually standing on it right now. I believe it's overturned, so it's upside down. This is the bottom. But most likely this was situated right here with some type of supports coming out of the bedrock there. Never did find out exactly what it was, but we did learn in a recent video further downstream. I made a video of the Scranton iron furnaces, showing it like it's never been seen before. And we learned that Roaring Brook played an important part in the iron manufacturing. They harnessed the water from here for the mill site. And we also learned there's something else down there for the making of nails as well. A factory that I documented, which is just ruins now. Yeah, so looking at this bridge here, what I'm calling a bridge, it's made out of some big wood planks. Looks like square cut timbers pretty much. There is some metal rods going through as like large nails or anchors. There's also some stone here and some concrete. So it is made out of numerous materials and built to last. I wouldn't be surprised if this is probably over 100 years old. And this is what's left of it today. Now, I did say it's upside down. I still think it is because we can see all these posts here are broken off. They look like they're broken off for what's exposed over there. So if we flip it over, the underside's probably pretty flat and smooth, but I don't know why it was built. It's also a big retention wall made out of railroad ties over there, and just lots and lots of bedrock. So if you do have any insight as to what this would have been used for, whether it was a bridge going across or just a dock or a piece of equipment or machinery mounted to it, it could be any number of possibilities. But it is worth documenting. It is a piece of history. I do find those square notches excuse me, coming out of bedrock pretty fascinating. But we need to press forward. And looking at it now, well, I'll say I initially saw this from a distance from the Harrison Ave Bridge and looked like it was running slower than what it is. So either it rained up north and the water came down, or it's just a trick of the eyes. Still not going to be disappointing. It is still like I've never seen it before, but I did see it differently a few days ago from on top of that bridge. So let's press forward, get closer and check it out. Up here, you can actually see some high water marks, a lot of debris piles along the edge. So we know at times this is underwater. That's a lot of water moving very, very fast. I think this is the cleanest I've ever seen this water too. Crystal clear. Even areas that are 3-4 feet deep, I can see right to the bottom. I think we need to get wet one more time. Then we have a rocky playground ahead of us. We'll just be going rock to rock, boulder to boulder. And then once we do get up past this rock field, I'll give you some more views of our target up ahead. I wanted to show you this area as well because this is an area where I had difficulty crossing right here because the water is higher, moving much faster, and I had concerns of getting swept away. Also, at that time, most of this area here was underwater, and you can see how far undercut it is. This is that retention wall I talked about, mostly railroad ties, obviously soaked with creosote, which I did a video on recently of a creosote factory, and concrete, and at least some rebar as well. So that was all built over here, and the water's just eating away at it. Eventually, it's gonna get so far undercut, probably gonna start breaking off in sections. But there's also dangers here too. There's a large section of rusted rebar right in the water there. Most likely came from there. And if I do remember correctly, somewhere up ahead here, there's another pool of water, and I believe there's a submerged railroad track. Just a minute ago, you heard me talking about the undercut of that retention wall possibly breaking off in sections. Well, it's already happened. Look at that. That broke away from right there. That's the size of a minivan, and it's just solid rock and concrete. Weighs multiple tons. That falls on you, there's no chance of survival. And right down here is our exposed railroad track. I'm gonna drop the backpack, we'll walk out there in a minute, get a look at it. But this is the reason we returned. I present to you Step Falls. Man-made waterfall that's basically created like giant steps. And my plan is to not only get up there and show you before and after from the same location, but to hopefully stand somewhere in the middle of the step falls. Something I've never done before. I have seen it done by people, but again, I've never seen the water this slow. But it is flowing more than what it was just a few days ago. So it is not as rare of a sight as I was hoping it was going to be today. I was hoping it was going to be even slower. But regardless, I haven't seen it the way it is today. This is as slow and low of the water level I've ever seen in person, prior to a couple days ago at least. Now, when I was here last time, I was here with my friend Matt PG. He was sitting on the rock there flying his drone. I was snorkeling and I showed you this underwater. This is a standard gauge railroad track. As to why it's here, I couldn't tell you that, but it is basically embedded into the ground. And then looking now, I don't know if I saw this before. There is something, oh, these rocks are slippery. I don't want to slide in. Let me get over closer. There's something else here underwater that is rusty. Oh yeah, there's something here. It's square or rectangular in shape. There's a wooden beam or tie right in the middle of it. I don't know what that is. I don't remember seeing that. It's pretty large though. It could have came maybe from this collapse here. And I'm looking, I think there might be another railroad track here too. Well, obviously I stirred up the water, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna press forward, but we're gonna come back to this spot. I'm gonna pull out the underwater camera, get you some views of what I think is another rail, that newly discovered item there, and another peek at this rail here. Because like I said, 2 out of these 3 I didn't even know about. I didn't think today was gonna be a day of discovery. I thought today was just gonna be a day of seeing a familiar sight. Look what we have in the water. Another submerged railroad track. I can't tell from here, that might be either narrow gauge or standard gauge. That's another one we'll get some footage of when we're returning. But again, water levels are so low, so clear, it's like being here for the first time. I'm seeing things I didn't know existed, and I'm seeing how deep the water truly is. Like, there's a pocket right below you guys that's at least 4 or 5 feet deep. And the normal water level is about another 2 to 3 feet higher. So even right back here, not to backtrack, but this pool right here is very, very deep. I'm wearing polarized glasses and I could barely make out the bottom. That's over my head right there. So pretty phenomenal conditions today. And we are nearing our location for our before and after. It's gonna get louder as we go. May or may not feel a mist in the air. Skies are cooperating for the moment. There is a chance to rain later today. And this is a super deep pool of water down here because people jump off the top of the step falls and for these rocky ledges right there into this abyss. It's probably at least 15 feet deep. I've never snorkeled it because the waters have always been too turbulent. And I don't have my snorkeling gear today, but I think we will put the underwater camera down there, see if we could see the bottom or any dangers that lie beneath the surface. Well, here's before, and here is after. But not as dry as it was a few days ago. When I saw from Harrison Ave Bridge about 3-4 days ago, there's only a little bit of water coming down the middle. Now the one thing I was hoping to do today, if it was dry as I saw it, is to get you a measurement with my laser measuring device. I did bring it with me, but it's not going to work because this is all wet. It's a glossy, moving surface. It's not going to be accurate. Now when you do take the trolley ride, the narrator on there does say, I don't remember correctly, but it's either 30 or 40 feet tall, 3 or 4 stories. It looks bigger than that. Looking at it from the very bottom where the water is to the very top, keep in mind it's pitched at an angle. It looks closer to like 50 or 60 feet. It's a good size, but it's completely man-made. You can tell it's all those stone steps, hence given the name Step Falls. Now, I've witnessed people jump from the top, part way down from the rocky cliffs, and I never went on it with the fear of sliding off, getting swept off. But I think the water's moving slow enough today, and we can get right here, that I can stand on it for the very first time. So I'll show you what it's like from here, and then I do have my 10-foot pole with me, so we can stand on there and get some incredible shots like we've never gotten before. Just to put out there too that when you come to locations like this, bring a friend if you could, practice safety, use common sense. What I'm going to do has the potential to be dangerous, but it's not as bad as it normally is. I'm pretty confident in my skills. If I do get hurt, it's my own fault. It's a choice I decide to do alone. So just wanted to put that out there. It's cold. Microphone might be getting wet, but I can say I'm standing here for the very first time. Whew. And it's steep. Wow. I'm not going any further because I don't trust it. And I'm getting soaked behind me. Ugh. Okay, that was a little sketchy coming back. I got more wet than I was planning on. All right, I'm sure you guys want to go up there, so I'm going to ditch the microphone, get my other pole, we'll do it together. Right now, we're at least 20 feet in the air. Super loud here as well. All you hear is this white noise from the water and beautiful little cascading falls. All right, I'm gonna get you guys extended out. I'm nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Super sketchy on the way back. Wow. I was a nervous wreck there. That is extremely intimidating once you're on the rock. If it was bone dry, I'd have no concern, but there's moss, it's wet, it's slippery. the chance of sliding off is greater than 50%. That was probably not the brightest idea, but hopefully the footage pays off. I don't want to do that again unless it's bone dry. Whew. Man, my heart is racing. I don't think I would ever jump off of here. If I did, the water would have to be slower than this, and it have to be maybe 3 or 4 steps up from the bottom. I wouldn't be able to do it. I give credit to anyone who's ever jumped off the top, the middle, or the sides here, especially when it's raging much faster than it is today. This landscape though is pretty fascinating. It is just a rocky outcrop of bedrock on both sides. I'm guessing when they built the Step Falls, they may have altered the landscape with blasting of the rock here. I never found out the true reason of them building this. I did hear it's for a mill. Whether it's above or below, I don't know. Maybe that the Step Falls has something to do with that bridge area that we documented that's overturned. There was a lot going on back here in the 1800s, early 1900s, but everything has pretty much ceased to exist except what we have here today. Now, if you do want to see the top, I'm not going there today, but if you go back to my previous videos, you'll be able to see it. I'm just looking now. There's actually a plate up there with engraving. I never saw that before. It's always covered in water. I don't think we're going to be able to read it. Huh, it's about the 3rd step down. And it has writing on it and a date of 18 or 1928 or 29? Oh, I really like to see that. There's water coming over it, so it's blocking the view. I don't have any other cameras with me to zoom in up there. I can't tell if that's 18 or 1900. There's a pipe right there on the 2nd step up. You know what? I'm gonna scout around. If I could somehow climb up here and get on top, I do want to see that builder's plate. I think we could maybe get some footage of it with this camera without me physically walking next to it. All right, we are in luck. It was not easy, but I made it up to the top. Here's a top side view of where we just were. That ledge down there. So we have easy access now to the top of the falls, and I feel confident I could get you the information on that builder's plate. Looks like a piece of steel right there coming out of the rock. There's also water coming through alongside this rock face here. Probably get you a pretty decent shot right behind it. The backside of water, as they say in Disney. So up here is only just a couple little steps for the Step Falls, like 3.5. And it's built, right into and right next to the bedrock. I have walked across the top before, so that's nothing new to me. Oh, there's a dead animal. If you don't want to see this, look away now. Looks like, oh, I don't know what that is. It is full of maggots. That's why they say never drink the water. You don't know what could be upstream. That's nasty. Okay, you can look back now if you're listening. So up on top here is just a nice calm body of water. It's full of algae, what I could see. Good, it's pretty slow moving, gets a lot of sun. There's a lot of algae growth. And then up here, we do have this giant anchor, if you want to call it that. I don't know what this is. Something was most likely mounted to it. It's on a piece of concrete bolted to it. It's got a notch on top. Maybe some type of water wheel apparatus. truly don't know. Here's the back side of it too. Like I said, I never got a clear definitive answer. But right below us here, you can see I have blocks sticking out, and that's the builder's plate. I don't really want to go down there, so I think I'm gonna go to one step here, and then I'm gonna stick you guys down in front of it, and I'll watch the footage back. Just spotted something else for the first time. I'll put some arrows pointing to it. There's two really massive eye bolts, or eye hooks, whatever they're called. Two different orientations, but something was attached to those, most likely attached to that right there with cables. So another piece of the puzzle, and turns out I'm giving you more than we were both bargaining for in this video. I had no inclination in coming up here, but here we are. That is a scary drop. If I was to jump off of here, it would have to be for life-changing money, because it'd be a one and done deal. I'd never do it again. But what a simply gorgeous sight. To know that most of this area was used for industry, iron making, and how it looks today. A little bit of nature reclaiming, things left behind from the 1900s. And now it's just a natural, beautiful area loaded with history. Honestly, with how wet I got today, I probably could have went snorkeling. But don't forget, we're still gonna get some underwater footage on the way back in the deep pool and some of those underwater findings. I'll see what it's like to toss a stick down there. There we go. Oh, wow, that's slippery. Holy crap. I'm on a rocky ledge, but it's covered in like mossy, slippery material. All right, so I got the action camera. This is a pretty long pole. We're gonna go out right in front of us here. It's gonna be dark water, so I'm not gonna see too much, but we'll try. All right, so we're gonna start off to the left here, work our way to the right. You can see some rocks right here. It's not terribly deep, but it gets deeper right over there. Depending on how this looks, I may come back next year to snorkel this if it gets calm like this. If it's not calm, the water would be higher, faster, probably some turbulent currents underwater that would be dangerous. So it has to be the perfect conditions to come snorkel this water. I wouldn't want to mess with it any other time than what it is right now. All right, so I'm pointing down, down, down. It's going down, not touching bottom yet. Wow, this is scary deep. I think this is like over 10 feet deep. I couldn't even touch bottom. It's like a bottomless abyss. I'll come over to the right-hand side now, where the rocks are sloping into the water. I'm assuming there's fish in here too. That's how deep it is, maybe even a Loch Ness Monster. All right, thing I got, oh, let me do one more final sweep, just to make sure. All right, like I suspected, it's really, really deep. So I'm gonna reposition you guys. We're gonna go to one more spot, and then we'll head downstream for the underwater rails. Oh, you know what? I never noticed this before. I was mentioning earlier that this area was probably altered and transformed to make this spillway and dam here. Well, I see drill markings. This may have been, I don't know, this may have been one solid rock feature here, and they drilled and blasted it to open it up. Either that, or it was much more narrower, and they widened it out. Either way though, there's evidence of drill markings right up here. All right, let's give this a final go. We're recording. Again, we're gonna do left to right. It's just like a bluish, greenish, bottomless pit. And I'm pointing straight down right now. And it's not even close to touching bottom. Right next to the rock face here, I'm gonna point down once again. I'm not feeling or touching anything. It's pointed straight down right now. It's a scary deep water. I'm gonna do one final pass right to left. I changed the camera angle. Let's see if we notice anything else. If something grabs this pole and starts pulling on it, that's gonna freak me out. So it's straight out ahead of me now. I'm gonna look up. Right under the rock face there. We're gonna go down. I'm gonna point it straight down again. Not even rubbing against anything. It is so freaking deep. So I had it all the way down to here, reaching underwater. Still wasn't touching the bottom. Like I said, I guesstimate this to be 15 to 20 feet deep. Okay, so our first newly discovered target is right in front of us here. It is a railroad track, I believe. I'm gonna get in the water a little bit. I wanna get a little bit closer to it. And hopefully not slide all the way in and ruin my microphone. Oh, I'm sliding. Ooh. Did some underwater water skiing. Okay, before it gets tilted up, let me get this going here. So it looks like it's just a section of rail. You can see the end of it here. There's a piece of metal curving around it. right there. And the rail continues upwards, coming closer to the surface over here. Mill flight possibly. The making of the Step Falls. Were rails used? Possibly, who knows? But regardless, there is evidence of things from the past. Okay, I kind of came behind for a big attack on these items without switching them up. Start getting like so close to the screen. The lens, I should say. Well, we know there's healthy water here. And they are following my camera around. If I back up, I'll show you. They're right there. The investigators of the waters. Maybe they're Pisces too. I want to jump in here for this part since the audio did not record anything. So this video kind of proved as testing grounds for the wireless mic system for the Insta360 X5, which I'm using to film the video topside. And the wireless mic works flawlessly when you're facing the camera. When your back's to the camera, it cuts in and out, and it cut out for a few minutes. So I wanted to kind of give you some context as to what we're looking at. After looking at that overturned, overgrowth railroad track with the curious fish, we are now moved on to this square rectangular shape item underwater. It's a new discovery for me, as you heard earlier in the video, and at first I wasn't quite sure what it was. I just knew it was metal, it was rusty, it's been there a long time, and it's a pretty good size. But after looking through it both through the lens of the camera and topside down through the water, I noticed that it had a really familiar shape. A shape that we seen earlier in the video. And almost without a certainty of a doubt, I think it's the same item that is on top of the Step Falls. That metal item that's bolted into the concrete that has the different angles on it and notches. I'm pretty confident that that's the same item, except this one's down here laying on the ground. We don't know what it is or was. We do think that cables were attached to it with those large eye bolts that we saw earlier. But that one is topside, standing tall on top of the falls. This one, though, has been down here underwater for decades. There's a lot of growth on it, so it's been there for a long, long time, but it has the same shape to it, same edges, the same notches and angles. It's almost a spitting image of what's on top. So hopefully any of you watching may have some insight as to what it used to be, what it was used for. I think maybe something to do with the water wheel, but beyond that, I really don't know. If you have any guesstimates, or guesstimations I should say, about what it could have been used for, by all means share them. Never hurts to put out some possible information. But regardless, I found it really fascinating. I was actually really excited on camera saying about what I think it is, but the microphone system didn't pick it up. And now we're at the original railroad track that I knew was already here, and it's basically coming up exposed out of the water. So this is my initial discovery when I came to this location a few years ago. Snorkeled it, saw this, but now it's exposed. But now at the low, clear water conditions, we now made multiple new discoveries. Seems like more often than not, I always end up finding myself in the water. Today really surprised me. Honest to God, I was only coming with the plan and the goal of filming the Step Falls. And I knew the water levels were lower, but not this low, especially not this clear. And we yielded some new results, new discoveries. Rail here, that big anchor point up top is also laying down here. And on the other side, another rail. Things I never knew existed, even though I've been here multiple times. I will say though, what I did though, in my mind was sketchy. Looking back on it now, I probably should have had somebody here with me, but I typically come alone based on my schedule and availability. Number two, I don't want to put anyone else in harm or danger. And number three, I am pretty confident in what I could do. I had confidence going into it once I was actually standing on that step with the water hitting me, looking down. My confidence went away pretty quick. So again, practice common sense, practice safety, come with a friend when you ever come to an area that could potentially be dangerous. I wouldn't ever do that though if the waters were like we've seen on the before footage on my previous videos. It'd be too sketchy, too dangerous. With that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to your feedback as to what that item is, which we know is the same thing as that on top. If you know anything else about this Step Falls area, why it was built, what it was used for, what was going on here, even with the bridge area down there, with those square insets in the rock face. Any information you have at all about what you've seen today, please share with us. I'd love to learn more about these areas. And it just goes to show that no matter how many times you come back to a location, you keep finding more and more stuff. Today happened to prove that point as well. I'm going home, a happy individual. Got some great footage. The only thing I wish I did differently is to have another camera with me, at least my Pocket 3, to zoom in on that builder's block. Because looking back on the footage on that camera, it was too dark. Oh, the fish are nipping at me. I don't know if it's legible or not. If it was, I probably would have put the subtitles on the screen. If not, well, that means I'll have to come back in the future with a more prepared camera for zooming in. But anyways, even if you don't have any information about this area, I hope you enjoyed the adventure. Coming back to a beautiful, familiar spot that's full of history, and you know that this water was responsible for the iron making at the Scranton Iron Furnaces I covered just a short time ago. And we have rails above, highways above. We know this area was created by man, and today it's just a phenomenal location that I love coming back to time and time again. So thank you for taking time out of your day for coming along with me, checking out this place, and hopefully seeing the Step Falls like we've never seen it before. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not as good as it was a few days ago, but I'll take what I could get. Mother Nature does rule in the end. Take care, everyone. Thanks again, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.